Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn how to graph linear equations using the slope-intercept form. But first of all, we have to remember different forms of linear equations. We have a standard form, a slope-intercept form, and point slope. But today, the purpose of today's lesson is focusing on a slope-intercept form, y equal to mx plus b. But what's the slope-intercept formula? We have to focus on two things when we are looking into the slope-intercept formula. What to look for the slope and the y-intercept. The formula is y equal mx plus b, where slope is the steepness of a line and y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So we have to keep those two things in mind. So the slope-intercept formula of the linear equation is m, which is equal to the slope, and b is our y-intercept. And we have to keep in mind that every equation given has to be in this form, where the y is in one side of the equation by itself, and we have mx plus b. The m is always next to the variable x, and the b is our y-intercept, which is going to determine where the line is going to cross the y-axis. Let's keep those things in mind, and this is going to help us to graph any linear equation in this form. Let's look at the first example. Find the slope and the y-intercept of the following linear equations. First of all, we have to make sure that this equation is on a slope-intercept form, which it is because we have y on one side of the equation by itself, and we have 3x plus 4. In order for us to determine what's the slope is always next to the x variable. In this case, our slope represented by the letter m is 3, and our y-intercept, which is represented by the letter b, is 4. And once we find our slope and the y-intercept, will be very simple to graph. But this is important to find the slope and the y first and then graph. So let's look at different example. Y equal negative 2x minus 1. Our slope in this equation is, again, next to the x, we have a coefficient of negative 2. That's our slope, negative 2. And our b, which is negative 1. Remember to carry the negative with the number. The next example, what if we have fractions? Fractions do not make any difference. We carry the fraction as well. So our slope in this case is negative 2 over 9. And our b, the y-intercept, is negative 1/4. In this equation, the next equation here, we have y equal to 5x. Again, our slope is the number next to the x, which is 5. That's our slope. And since there is no b here, we don't have a y-intercept, the b will be 0. This means that our y-intercept is going to be a 0, 0, meaning the origin. But let's take a look when we graph. Once we know how to find our slope and the y-intercept, it's going to be very simple to graph. Let's take a look. We have to graph this equation y equal -2 over 3x plus 1. The first thing we need to do is find our y-intercept. Our y-intercept will be +1 here. +1. So let's look at our x and y axis. Our y-axis is here. In the y-axis, we have to find +1. You can see here is -1 over here, -1's over here, and one positive numbers and positive numbers. So our +1 is here. So let's place a point right there, a +1. That's our y-intercept. And let's look at the slope. The slope is -2 over 3. -2 over 3. We have to keep in mind that when we have positive numbers, it's gonna go up. Negative numbers are gonna go down. The denominator is gonna go to the right. So in this example, we have a -2 over 3. The -2, that means that it's gonna go out. It's gonna go down 2 units, and we're gonna move 3 units to the right. So let's take a look in here. So we have from our y-intercept, we're gonna move 2 units down, 1, 2, and 3 to the right. 1, 2, and 3. We place a point in there, get a ruler, and make your line. And that's all you have to do. Let's look at the next example. On this example, we have our m, which is the slope, 5 over 3, and b, which is -2. Our y-intercept, of course, is -2. On our y-axis, we find -2, which is over here. Let's place a point right there. And our slope is 5 over 3. Again, we have to keep in mind, since 5 is positive, it's going to move up 5 units and 3 to the right. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 units to the right. 1, 2, 3. Place the point in there, get a ruler, and connect the points, and we have our line. Pretty simple. Let's look at the next example. We have the equation y equal to -4x plus b. Our y-intercept is a +1 on our y-axis. +1 is right here. Place your point. Now we have to keep in mind your slope is a -4. But wait a minute, you don't have a number right at the bottom of 4. So we add a +1 to make it a fraction. So we know that we're gonna move 1 unit to the right. So when we have a constant that is not a fraction, we make it a fraction by adding a +1. So our slope is -4 over 1, which means that we're gonna move 4 units down and 1 to the right. And there you go. You have your line. But what happened if a line is given to you and you have to write a linear equation of the line? So we have these two graphs and they ask you to find the linear equation in the slope-intercept form to describe the graph. So let's take a look at this first graph over here. The first thing that we have to look for is our y-intercept. The y-intercept is where the line is crossing the y-axis. Our y-axis is here. This is our line here. This is our graph. And right here is where the line is crossing the y-axis. This point is 1, 2, 3 is a positive 3. So our y-axis and the line is crossing at positive 3. And from there we have to find the slope. The slope is to find 2 points in the line. In this case we have 4 and 8 units up. So we move 1, 2, 3, 4 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units up. And remember, your slope is rise over run. So it's 8 units up and 4 to the right, which we have 8 divided by 4. Once you simplify, you have 2 over 1. We create our equation by adding our slope and our y-intercept. So we have y equal to 2x plus 3. 2 being the slope and 3 is the y-intercept. One more example. Again, in this graph, we have to start by looking at the y-axis and finding the y-intercept, which is this point over here. That point here, if we count, is a 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4. Or v is a negative 4. And then let's find the slope. I'm going to pick this point and this point over here to find the slope. So we're going to move 2 units up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 units to the left. So our slope is 2 over negative 6. Once we simplify, we have 1 over negative 3. We look at our slope-intercept form. We replace our slope and we have y equal to our slope, which is 1 over negative 3, x minus our y-intercept, which is 4. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next topic. Thank you.